Hi, Tamia and Yvette from the SyFy Sistas. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
It's so good to see you all. It's really lovely to see you all and a little poignant too. And just know that we love you all very much and we're
Oh,
fighting to get you back. Okay.
oh,
Please, thank you.
yeah.
Okay, we're just hopping on in here. I want to know what have you guys learned from your respective characters throughout these 5 seasons? And for sure, after dark answers are more than welcome.
Ooh, I'm like, what have I learned after dark from Mariner? I don't know. I think I have learned a little bit of like balance and like yeah, like maybe more like outward expression of like friendship love for her friends. She does that well-ish, but like truly like the love between these guys is has really informed how I kind of like
Yeah.
treat my platonic relationships in my life. And yeah, I
Okay, so this is platonic.
The four of us are platonic.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was just sure because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
haven't been together in a while, so
I
I wasn't
know.
sure if the vibe changed, but
you know what?
The four of us collectively have had a will they, won't they thing going on for a while.
Yeah. I'll talk to you offline if I want to upset
after
anyone.
dark.
Yeah.
After, sure.
Yeah.
After dark.
I would second that. I think it's so rare, especially in animation, where you're mostly recording, separately at different times in your own booth. Like how many friends I've made on this show, and I think it's just wonderful. And I think our whole show is about, and Trek in general, I think is about the spirit of friendship. So I just love that, being on a Trek show has it made me gain some friends and made me appreciate the friends I already have. It's really awesome. It's really special.
Tendi for me is a facet of my personality that this optimistic, sort of like go-getter, but gentle underneath. It's a part of me that is basically exactly who I am, that I feel like I have to hide a lot. And then the fact that I got to bring her out on the show and that people like her, and then they show people on the show liking her and accepting her for who she is. It's really helped me not be embarrassed of that part of me. It's
So
true though.
We do like her, and
We love her.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because I feel like it's often met in the real world with like, I don't know how, incredulity.
yeah.
Like people don't believe that I could be like when my optimism comes out and it's often like bit at, and I'm like, oh my God, am I a freak? But then on this show,
No,
freak.
Yeah.
we need optimism now more than ever. Like our world's so cynical, we need you.
I feel like that's the same, similar thing to what I've gained from playing Rutherford is the positivity and the confidence that you can have from loving the thing that you love. Like it's not weird, it's not different, it's not whatever. It's like, you studied really hard to become a great engineer and you love telling people about it.
Yeah.
Great. Like
Great.
that positivity is a good thing to have in your life.
And you get to be good at your job.
And you can be good at your job.
Yeah.
Like there's just too many comedies. There's just too many things in life where it's, self-deprecating. And this guy is just like, no, let's just stay positive.
Yeah.
Be excited about what we know and we learn. And that's what he has. And that's what I try to bring after dark.
Add
All
that
right.
to your fortune cookie readings from now on.
My question is, have you developed a personal backstory for your characters? And if you have, please share.
Ooh.
Mine was kind of all laid out in season 4 when we got that Ceto Jaxa drop. I was like, this is giving us, this is meaty. This is drama. This is prestige drama level backstory. I love that we
Fiction.
do that in a
Fan
little,
fiction. Yeah.
yeah, like a little 22-minute cartoon that gets that kind of pithy. I love
Yeah.
it. So I didn't do any work besides that. Mike did it all.
I know that Boimler was born and raised on a vineyard on Earth, a raisin vineyard.
Yep.
And I just think that changes you as a person. And I think that explains everything about the way that he is. He just doesn't want to be a raisin farmer, so he needs to do well at his job.
Before we learned a lot about Tendi.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's all laid out. And then season 5, you get to continue seeing the fruits of where she's from.
Oh,
And
it's great. And it's great.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, Rutherford, I mean, if I thought of anything, it would get deleted and then Mike would change it. So
Yeah.
I get excited because, luckily for my character, he's erased of his past.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I
Great.
guess I can make up whatever I want and
That's
then
right.
it can get changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. We, looks like we only have 3 minutes. So, Tamia, do you want to ask one of your questions?
Okay, so all right, imagine yourselves at the SyFy Sistas cookout, right?
Mm.
And
Okay,
like
I'm there.
everybody from Trekdom is there. Imagine your characters there.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
you guys are already invited, but imagine your characters there. Where would they be hanging out? Would they be like at the spades table, or would they be in the kitchen cooking? Would they
Mm.
dare to bring potato salad?
Mm.
Would they be at the grill? What do you think your characters would be doing at the SyFy Sistas cookout?
I think my character will have been sent to go get some ice. And I think he will have slipped on all the ice. And he's just still at the grocery
Yeah.
store, like figuring out that situation. But he'll be back soon, he promises.
Promises.
By the time he gets back, it's just water.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just this water. A series of mishaps has befallen Boimler yet again. Yeah, for sure.
I think Mariner would be kind of like a combination of like handing out punch, but also kind of watching the door a little bit, like checking the guest list a little bit, because you said everybody from Trekdom is there, and I went, everybody?
Not,
Well,
not everybody.
Everybody.
Not everybody.
You feel
No,
me?
no.
So yeah, Mariner would be like,
Yeah,
we got to make sure the vibe is right in here.
that's right.
Right.
Oh, I think Tendi and Rutherford would be together, just hopping around, looking at
Playing with the dogs.
playing with the
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The dogs.
Yeah. I think we'd just be around and be like, "Who is that?" Like,
A child.
yeah, yeah. I think we would be the children.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, we would be at the kids,
Yeah, it's like,
kids section.
I think somebody's drowning. Oh, that's
Yeah.
me.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, you guys would definitely be sitting at the kids' table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cornhole? Wow. Fascinating.
It looks like we have to wrap up, but
Okay.
I just wanted to tell you guys how much we love this show. And Tani and Eugene, you know how much we love you guys, and it's so good to meet you and Jack and
good to meet you.
I'm
Noel, it's really
Noel.
wonderful.
I'm so happy we finally got the whole crew here.
Yeah.
We love this show. We always tell everybody this is where you
I
start.
know, you guys are the best.
Thank
You guys
you.
are the best. Thank you for your support. We
Yeah.
love you so much. We
Thank
love
you.
what you do and what you represent in the fandom.
Amen.
Thank you.
We
And
love
we
you
always
too.
come by and say hi, so we
You
will.
better. You better. You better. Love you
I
guys.
love you guys.
See you at the
Good to
Thank
meet
you.
One of our favorite people from Lower Deck, from anywhere. All right. We met her at Trek Long Island, where we met and fell in love with her. Then we got to hang out with her at Star Trek Las Vegas. I'm so excited I can't even talk. And Gabrielle Ruiz is a philanthropist. She is an activist. She is an actress. She is like all that. Champion of the arts, which is where you won my heart. She's currently offering one-on-one client coachings to high school and performing arts students. And she is a professional. Her specialty is college admissions and audition preparation, which we're going to get into that a little bit more. But you know her as Taylin on Lower Deck, and maybe even as Valencia Perez as a crazy ex-girlfriend, where you got rave reviews. So a lot of people remember that. So anyway, our best friend, I'm claiming it, is here today. Hey, Gabrielle. How are you?
Hi, science besties.
It's so good to see you.
It is.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. This feels long overdue. We've been trying to get together, and I'm so glad this is just the launch of conversations for the next and last season of Star Trek and getting to know me a little bit more. So thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah,
man.
definitely.
Absolutely. We said yes. There were 4 yeses on this. Yes.
Yes.
So I want to we got a lot of questions. So I'm going to kick it over
Let's
to Yvette.
dive in.
We got a lot of questions in just a few minutes. Let's go.
So we were really bummed when you weren't at the interviews last week when all 4 of the cast were there. I was like, well, where's Gabrielle? What the One of the questions I had for them, which was really fun, was you have this character. What did you come in with, like a backstory for your character?
For Talin.
For Talin,
I definitely had experience with my audition process for Lower Decks. I got to get to know what Mike wanted, and when it came to speed and style, and also respect for the world, I mean, the universe of Star Trek. And when Talin came through as an audition, they did give us some reference points of T'Pol specifically, and a scene with her and her mother on planet Vulcan. And it's very passive aggressive. And they're just giving each other so much sass. I feel like she brings someone home in this scene, and there's just all Vulcan shade. Yes, it's complete Vulcan shade. So a lot of
how I feel about Vulcans.
So a lot of voiceover auditioning, for me at least, is literally taking a stab into the universe, launching it out there, and see if it comes back. And it's kind of freeing in a sense, because you really just trust your instinct. I mean, this is so Talin. You trust your gut, and you let go. You just let go and see what happens. Some actors don't like that, but I love it because I don't have to think more than twice about an audition, and I get to move on and feel like I made a bold move, a bold choice. I boldly went and where I'd never gone before. And and listen, that's like this, full disclosure, we as actors audition 100 times a week. So when one comes back, it's really, really awesome, and it feels really good. Am I lucky that it's Star Trek and Talin with Gabrielle Ruiz in Star Trek font? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I took that reference, and then I also decided to reference Captain Freeman and Mariner's relationship. I didn't know that Captain Sokol was her captain for Talin, which was the scene that they gave me, the fight, the disagreement. And I decided I made Captain Sokol her father. That's how I decided to compare. It's like, I feel like Talin can be a Vulcan version of Mariner.
Yes.
And that was my guess. You just kind of have to roll with a really bold decision as an actor for these kind of auditions. And luckily I was right in a sense, so it worked out.
The out of control Vulcan. I love it.
Also, like, what it's kind of like it's also like, what would Jesus do? It's what would Leonard Nimoy say? How would
there
he
you
say
go.
it?
There you go. There you go. There you go. It's true.
And so these are all my acting, tips for other actors that want to be a Vulcan. And you just think of Leonard Nimoy, how would he say it? And then I just repeat it.
Yeah, that's it. I think Ethan Peck kind of did the same thing when he first got it.
Censors.
I love
they
that.
They
made fun of that on Lower Decks too. Censors.
Well, they did have to tell me to tone it back a little bit. They were like, "Can you say a little less oars?" I was like, "Sure," but it's funny.
Whatever you need.
Whatever you need.
Fran, you have a question?
Yes, I see, from your background, as Sabrina mentioned, we know you from everywhere. So
I am from everywhere.
Yes. You've been on stage, singing and doing stuff on Broadway and all that. You do the voiceover work. You were on the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Yes. Tell me, do you have a favorite among those? Or do you see them all about the same? Or is there really a favorite? So you can't ask a person if they have a favorite child. Sometimes we do. Yes, sometimes we do. But
yes,
somebody's agreeing with me over there, but we can't say it. But is there a favorite for you, or let us know?
I mean, I feel like it's subjective and it's always ebbing and flowing on change, but I love voiceover work. I really do. I really do. And I love that I have the badge of honor of Broadway on my lapel, but I don't miss it one bit, ladies. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
In one sentence, let me tell you why. Because Broadway is hard. It is so hard.
Yeah.
It's 8 shows a week. It's get your legs broken, get your butt up back on stage.
Oh,
There's no free food, like TV gives you free food all the time.
That's an out for me right there.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I've never heard anybody say that. There's no free food
There's
on
no free
Broadway.
food. And no, I remember being on set for the first time. I was like, there's food everywhere. Like, what is this? Like, am I in like the chocolate factory? Like, am I Willy Wonka? Like, what's happening? And like, I mentioned to somebody I had a headache, and zoom, a medic was like right next to me. He's like, do you need Motrin? I was like, yes, I think I do. Thank you. Like, no. I love Broadway. It is so difficult. It's so hard. It's 8 shows a week. Monday's your only day off. And I was fatigued at the point at 10 years that I loved and embraced the change of television. And then voiceover, it's such a different collaboration because you see Talin with her actions that I don't create. I get to create the voice that inspires those actions that you see on screen. So I get to be surprised in a very different way that I'm loving.
That's cool.
Lynn is a food. She is just
Making me like Vulcans again.
you know, she's
Well, Sabrina does not like Vulcans at all.
no, she's not a
It's
boss.
not that I don't like Vulcans. It's just you can't trust them and you can't kill them. So
It's true.
We're gonna do a
Man.
whole show on that.
we are. They are one step away from Romulans, and I mean just a half a step.
We're just more. I would say we're pretty sophisticated. So
That don't mean
and,
nothing.
And very we're very snobby, which I love
Oh.
too.
Ooh,
We're such
ooh,
snobs. I love it.
Yeah, they are snobs. Yeah.
they are. See, well now we only had Spock, and we all thought Spock was the main thing, but they kicked him out, so we can't go by that. So
Well, Talin got
Anyway.
kicked out in a sense too. So
She did.
Yeah.
She really did.
Right.
She
So
really
that's why,
did.
you right up there with me. Okay. You turned your back for a minute. So anyway, I'm going to ask the question
And
that's really,
Tupac.
like I said. Yeah,
One
exactly.
more thing, and Tupac was gone from them for 7 years.
And didn't seem to miss it.
And then okay.
Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother show.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you more about what really made me perk up when I read your bio and everything else. And that is, I'm one of the board members of STEAM Superheroes, and we are really STEAM. So we've got that A in there for arts. And I'm an art history major, and I love that you're an advocate of arts education. And do you think if we could ever get this emphasis with STEAM instead of STEM, we would ever see arts coming back into the public school system, like a regular thing, like all kids get art education?
Absolutely. I hope so. That's why we're advocates for it. I mean, I've spoken on Capitol Hill, and I've been a speaker, and I also offer so many talkbacks wherever I can. The minute I was out of South Texas, understanding that I could get a paycheck for performing, I had to shout it on the rooftops, because there's kids that, I don't know if it's different today with having the world available at the palm of your hand. Unlike me, I didn't have YouTube in high school or middle school when I didn't understand that I didn't just have to go to New York or have to go to Juilliard. No shade to Juilliard, but because as prestigious as it is, but the movies told me that's the only option I had to achieve.
Right.
But there's so much out there to grow your craft, to then consider it as a professional entity. You are, as performers, it's my job to share with kids that you can be the CEO of your own business. How exciting is that?
That's it.
And it's not just, my mentor said, what we do is show business, not show begging. And right. And we have the power to make a company of ourselves, to be able to have the power to finance ourselves and finance others, bring others to the table, especially for the diversity, angles of the groups.
Oh,
the
you're talking to
performance.
us.
Yeah. And I fully believe that the more we speak out loud and the more we present it, composition, like for example, music, to compose a song, to write music, you need math.
Yes.
There you go.
You need
Yes.
math. To be a writer, you need English. Like, they come hand in hand. And to be able to make kids not only expressive or passionate, but compassionate, I think the arts does that every single time. Every single time, no matter what's happening at home.
Exactly.
You have that outlet, you have that outlet, and you have that power.
Right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
No.
So
I remember-
I understand the passion. Yeah.
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 I remember back in the 1900s when I was in elementary school.
That's all of us.
There's no lie in that
Yeah,
All of
statement.
us.
you know,
Not one lie.
yeah, 1900s. And the music teacher came into the classroom.
Yeah.
The art teacher came into
Yeah.
the classroom.
Hmm.
Every week, once a week, they came into the classroom. And that was one of my favorite types of,
Yep.
Yep.
in school because, Miss Kaya was coming, Miss Banks was coming.
Oh, look, you still remember their names. Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
I
it was
remember
like
their names.
Yeah.
such a huge impact.
The art,
Mhm.
the music, it was great. It was great. And they taught us so much because that was my outlet because they used to tell me I talk too much. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But I shined when we had the music and the
Yeah.
art. Well, not much the
Yeah.
art, but the music and the stuff where we had to get up on stage. And I was so good at that. And
Mhm.
it was an
Yeah.
outlet. So
Yeah.
wish they
I
bring that
definitely
back.
believe, yeah, I definitely believe it should be funded. It should be budgeted in at any cost for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
I know we got a little short on time, but I wanted to bring up what you're doing with kids, high school kids. I would like people
Yeah,
to
thank
know
you for asking.
exactly what you're doing with that before we
Yeah.
before we lose all our time. Yeah.
My elevator pitch. You ready?
Yeah.
So, I have had the blessing that someone asked me to help them with coaching their career. So I'm a career coach. I have clients as young as 13 that want to go pro or they want to discover if they want to go to college for performing arts.
Mhm.
And I help them on the business side and the show side of this crazy industry that is always changing, always flowing. And I teach them to get organized, change their attitude about it, get out of their rut. And if they're under 16, I also coach their parents. I feel a little bit like Caesar Milan, you know what I mean? Where I'm just like, not that they're an
dogs.
issue, but not that
Right,
the dog,
right,
not
right.
that the kid's an issue, but it's just like
Right.
I have to also coach the parent.
I
'cause
get
the parent's
that,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, please help me. This kid wants to do this and they're so talented. What do I do? That's
Right.
super fun to coach two people at the same time. And then I feel like I am the version of like someone hiring their kid for SAT coaching to get
Yes,
into college, to feel
Yeah.
like they're have not necessarily just a boost, but just feel the most prepared as possible. I do that specifically for performing arts degree auditions. So all those middle schoolers and high schoolers that are very serious and maybe feel like they're the only serious kid in their group and they don't have that one person, and that parent can have that one person to help them lead the way into getting as many options as possible. Because again, it doesn't have, I mean, no offense to NYU or Juilliard, because that's where
Yeah.
Broadway is, or that's where Hollywood is, and whatever. But like, I went to school at Oklahoma City University and got a wonderful dance performance
Yeah.
degree, and now I'm a voiceover actor. Like I'm not dancing on lower decks, not yet. But you know what I mean? It's wonderful that you can learn to evolve, and I'm an example of that. It doesn't have to be just that, and how to apply, how to submit, how to audition, all those things. It can be overwhelming for
It really can.
Yeah.
the parent and the kid, and I love coaching that.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you do it with the
Thanks.
parent.
It's
You
so
know,
needed
It's so
too.
important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've
It's
been
really
there, and
important.
I've been there where you're trying to get your kid in this specific field, and you're like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
You know.
But I just
love
know that people hire counselors for, I mean, Harvard, how to write that
Everything.
essay, or how to, tennis per se, or anything like that. Then that is available for the performing arts as well.
I love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you
we'll
for
definitely,
asking.
yeah, we'll definitely put the link when we put
I
this
will.
out. We'll definitely put that out for you to make sure
Mhm.
people know about it. That's awesome.
Yay.
Sabrina?
So, Fran, you have one more question about storylines?
You want to
I
bring it
do.
back to lower decks?
Yeah, we're bringing it back to lower decks.
Oh, right.
We're
Lower deck.
tossing the question
Right.
to you. You know that thing.
Well, my question was, were you surprised by the instant acceptance of your character by the fandom?
Oh,
And I mean, it was like,
Yes.
ooh,
oh my gosh.
delicious.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
so nervous. I was
instant. It was just about instant.
Oh, thank you. I was so nervous. I don't know if Mike was, but I was. It's because, I mean, we know this, Sabrina. I mean, Vulcans are specific. They're
Yeah.
they're so
It's so
specific.
extra.
They're so
Yes.
extra, and so to like put my stab on it, my mark on it. They're such perfectionists too. Like I remember the
Yeah.
audition. I remember the audition, Fran, where I recorded at night and I woke up the next day and I told my husband, I was like, it's not right. I got to do it again. I have to go back into my closet and record it again because the specificity of it, you know what I mean? It's just like it has to be. And she's not, as we see, she's not like the rest of the lower deckers. She is the straight man. She is the cool, the calm, which is very, classic Vulcan dynamic with most casts and most shows that you see on Star Trek. And so add comedy to that 100%, that it had to be right. And I'm so glad that I took that extra, take on it, because when the fans loved her, it was such a relief. And then I put a lot of pressure on myself that I had to know everything and anything all Vulcan. But in the end, the fans got my back. Like I will ask a question and be like, does anyone know? Does anyone know how to sing Happy Birthday in Vulcan? Link right away.
Right away. Because it's there.
Because it's there.
So
But
crazy
also,
that
there's,
it's there.
I'm so grateful that there's not this expectation that I need to be a professional Vulcan. I'm learning as I go, and I respect the joy that learning about all these different characters and aliens and planets and everything, all Star Trek, and I'm very welcomed. So that's so wonderful. Also, I sing Happy Birthday on Cameo in Vulcan.
Oh my goodness. Gonna get that for Sabrina's next birthday.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you.
And we're gonna bust out in it.
It's not that I hate them. It's not.
Well, it looks like we gotta wrap up. So
Okay.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we'll
Don't
talk
worry.
again.
I'll see you in person on the next
That's right.
con.
That's right.
I'm
That's
out
right.
You know
there meeting the fans. It's been wonderful.
Bring the
I
baby.
know it has. Bring the babies. The babies,
Bring the baby.
right? Bring the baby. Well, we love you, Gabrielle, and thank you so much for doing this. And so sad it's only 5. It's the end, but we'll see you at all the cons.
I'll see you at all the cons. We will live long and prosper despite
will.
just 5 seasons.
We definitely will.
Enjoy the last season, though. There's so much growth and so many beautiful, explosive moments that really Mike and the team did such a great job. I'm so excited for everyone to see it.
We've seen the first 5 episodes.
We've seen
We're
Episode
happy.
3 is the best.
oh yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I every time I saw them, I was like, this is going to be the best one. Oh my gosh, this was better.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, this was better. So everyone enjoy, have a
Mhm.
seat, and share all on social media and at the cons. Let me
Definitely.
know how you love them.
Yeah, Talina
all right.
fangirling is the best. Bye.
Oh, she can do it too. Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Live long and prosper.
Yes.
We're going to get right into it. We are Tamia and Sabrina from the SyFy Sistas.
So nice to see you guys. So nice.
Well, we've had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of your castmates before, but this is our first time talking to you, and we are so excited. So, because you are just bringing to life this crazy, powerful female energy on the screen.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It is such a pleasure to do so too.
We love it. We love Ta'ana. We love her surliness. Like, I love her personally because she says everything that I'm thinking all the time.
100%. That's exactly how I feel too. Like if I could live like she did, I mean, I would probably only have 2 friends, but I wouldn't care. It wouldn't
Right?
matter, would it, guys?
They would be
Because
good
I'd be
friends.
honest. Yeah,
Right?
they'd be such solid friends. But I love her because she doesn't suffer fools. She is salt of the earth. She doesn't suffer fools. She loves what she does. Like, she is truly the joy she finds in the medical profession, from research to surgical to taking care of her patients, albeit in a surly and ornery manner, is genuine and comes from a true place of care. And I love that. And if she sees any falsehoods in the people she meets, she tells them to F off.
Right.
Oh yeah.
which
Yes.
is so strong and
Yes.
it's so delicious to play.
Oh
I
Oh my
mean, it's the
God.
best. It's the
She's a
best.
cat sister. Let me tell you.
Totally. And I think I think that is so on point because that's the
Yes.
thing. She is a Cajun and she will turn her back and you'll see her butthole. Just kidding.
That's
But
right.
she'll be like, we're done here. We're
Right?
done.
We are
And
so done.
we're finished. And you've just seen my butthole, but my tail is up and I'm walking away.
That's
And I have to say, like, I find her, and I was saying that before, what I love about her is that, like, she loves Tendi and she loves Tendi because of her, like, her intellectual curiosity and true love of what she's learning. So likewise with Dr. Ta'ana, she sees this in Tendi and she's like, there we go. This is what I love. So opposed to a Boimler who might be trying too hard and she's like, I'm done with this shit. This is
right.
enough. I won't put up with this. I don't have the time.
I just want to be in the book club.
I want to be. Don't I? I want to be too. I do too. I want to watch what she's like or how she treats others. Like if Miggly Mo goes on too much about something,
right.
and she's like, "You need to shut it down
Right.
now, or
Like
I'll
now.
scratch." Yeah, or I will scratch that beak off.
Oh,
Too much information.
that
my
brings
girl.
me to, a little bit of my question, which was when you first got this script, did you have any idea that an alien cat character was going to have such a deep arc? I mean, the Tendi mentor arc, the lover arc, all of this stuff you get to
Hysterical. It's funny you should ask that. Part of what I found hysterical too is like I had no idea. One, it's been a joy entering the Star Trek universe because I didn't know it that well, and to have expanded it to this is just it's been such a dream, and also like the cleverness of Mike McMahon and his writing, his cast of writers who are all that they've been able to take something that was seen as a very earnest and sort of more dramatically appealing show and kind of throw it on its head and make it like respect the history and the information of what and really the true love they feel for Star Trek, but to make it so freaking hysterical.
Yeah.
Was genius. And when I didn't know that Dr. Tana was a Acacian. I had no idea. And when he showed me after I got the part of the character or the drawing, the animation that it was based on, this sexy 1973, like demure, sexy doctor cat. I was like, and then to see what he created was so hysterical that he made it like this 180, like she looked like she's a cat that's been run over 18 times.
Right?
Like
exactly.
My favorite is the snaggletooth. The snaggletooth cracks me up.
The snaggletooth
constantly,
the ear, the ear notch.
And yet, like, right, you see she's wearing like a shield to protect her patients, but that snaggletooth is still there.
It's still there.
It's the best. She looks like she has been thrown into a garbage like a disposal and then came out like, I'm ready for surgery. She's the best. And I think that's also like, it's a wonderful thing because she's not like the way we watch everything on television or even in animation. Everybody's so beautiful. And I love that she's sort of a mess. Like her outfit's nice. Like she always keeps it tight.
She's always ready.
Right.
But she looks like she has been ridden hard and put away wet and she could care less. And she's still very sensual. And she's still very sensual.
Well, that's what I love. I mean, she's got this fully realized relationship with Shax.
Totally.
Which is so cool, like, and they like first of all, it's cool that like Lower Decks is one of the few more recent Star Treks that's really sex positive, like the original Star Trek was. It's like highly sex positive. Nobody was hiding from sex. It was not all puritanized, and it wasn't all creepy rapey like they did on TNG.
What is the problem? What?
But like, so Shax and Ta'ana, like they get up to some super kinky stuff. And so like, how does it feel to be a kink icon now? Because I think that she is.
I think it is fabulous, right? That she uses Shax as her scratching post for all of her sexual desires is the greatest thing. Well, and what I love too is like, she just comes off, right, as this like omnisexual being, which I love too, is like,
Yes.
she'll do anything. And that, like you said, part of what is so wonderful about playing T'Ana and even talking to you guys and sort of thinking about this more is that she has her freedom is such a heightened than most people we know, like how she talks to people, right? And but she's clearly very respectful and earnestly involved in the work she does, and yet she's also able to be like, and what I'm going to do to you on the holodeck, you'll never forget it. And there's something like I always think about what it is. It's like it's sex positive, it's neurodivergent positive, because she is not afraid to sort of be against the tip. Like she's atypical in so many ways, and she celebrates it. And yet she's celebrated for the work she does, as well as the work she does on Shax. If you know, like,
but
I
it's
love
sweet
it. It's been such a oh my God, she's a heart of gold. Like she loves Tendi, like a mother,
auntie, like an auntie.
Yes, and she's she's her protege, but she's also like she wants to make sure she's okay.
Right.
So you see this these sides of her that she's extremely maternal in some ways, and yet also so confident in her sexuality and in her ability to take care of others on multiple levels. But don't fuck with her. Excuse my French.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And
that would have been a T'Ana bleep.
I know. I'm so sorry.
We can't have an interview with you and not have a bleep, bleep, bleep at least once.
Well, at least on our show, we don't have to bleep anything.
We don't have.
Folks know.
Oh, God bless you. Thank God.
They know better. You know.
Good. Yeah, it's honestly been such. I'm gonna miss it a lot. I'll say that. And this is probably one of the most, the strongest characters I've ever gotten to play. And I hope that somewhere in the near future, or just future, I get to play a version of Dr. T'Ana again, because it's been it's so cathartic. When I leave the space of the recording studio, like I think I've told you, I felt like I shed like 1,000 calories because I get really into it and I sweat. And then I sit in my car and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to say all those disgusting words.
Yes.
And let it all out. And now I can go about my day and feel like it's like it was like mental yoga.
Yeah,
to get to do it. Very much so. Very much so.
So another question, just listening to you say all of that, which is you answered so many of the things I was wondering about, even the how much exertion it takes to go through some of that, because you're really screaming and yelling at some of these scenes. So we've asked this question of a few of the character players that have come on the show, and what have you learned from playing Dr. T'Ana? And you can go dark if you want to. It's your answer to this question. What have you learned from playing her?
I've learned that I should be more maybe sexually open with my husband.
Yeah,
whoa,
right?
Okay.
Right? Exactly.
But German catnip ready.
I've also learned it's such an interesting thing, and especially as you're saying, as women, sort of owning your where you stand and what you believe in. And I think I'm not thrown by this, but I'm empowered by the lessons of somebody who's like, no, that's not how we're going to do this. This is, I'm willing to take your thoughts in, but in the end, it's going to be up to me. Yeah. And how I run my clinic, my space. And I hope that in life that I can take that message and use it moving forward. And by the way, I swear like a sailor. So this has been such one more place to do it, and it's been so fun.
That's why, like, I was like, oh my God, you're a kindred spirit, because like I have a potty mouth. I've always had a potty mouth. Like I've learned to when I can use it and when I can't. But I mean, I remember being like I just like 5 or 6 years old and standing up in the back of the car and being like, man, fuck this shit. And my grandparents were like, turn around, because I like, and I learned it from my grandfather. That's how my grandfather talked, you know?
Yes.
So I love my fellow potty mouths, you know?
Same. I realized like there've been times I'm like, I really should stop. And then I got this role and I'm like, oh, what's this? This is the best. And I think it is unfair to say that people who swear have like a smaller vocabulary. I think that it is just used to be emphatic. It's used to really state a point with a lot of juiciness, if I may. And I think I feel that I have a lot of things I like to say, and it's like a delicious icing on top to add swear words. And I think that would be the same for this character. And I've really felt empowered by it too. And it doesn't have to be every other word out of my mouth, but to throw in to really have it mean something is so fantastic. So I take that away from this, and I also, like I said, I'm going to miss this so much, and I also love the camaraderie of a show like this. Like, even if I don't see everybody, to watch how it is like all put together, and to see how the writers do it, to watch how the sausage is made, and to see that it's still delicious is such a cool experience. And I've felt a deep sense of respect for everybody. There's so many people involved, from production to animation to writing to the sound, the music, the editing. It's such a cool thing to watch and to be a part of. And I hope that I get to come to some conventions to.
Oh God, we hope so.
We hope.
Oh, I would be so excited.
Oh,
because I know they have fun.
There's there's
so
such
many
a blast.
cosplayers.
And yes, there's so many cosplayers of Ta'ana, and like we would all welcome you. Your booth would be flooded with people. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would love to do it.
She's such a popular character, but I mean, it's really, I mean, they can write a character, but it takes you to bring her to life, and so, we're just grateful to you for giving us her, because she's such a breath of fresh air. She's, and like you said, she's grounded, and but she's also she makes us laugh so hard. And
oh my God. I have had to pause the tape. I can't remember what scene it was, but I had to stop the film because I was laughing so hard. I couldn't even see the next scene.
So thrilled. By the way, it's been a gift. It was a gift. And like to see, like I said, that moment when Mike McMahon showed me where she came from 50 years ago, and where she is and what I got to play. I literally felt that like weird, as if I was on some sort of psychedelic. I was like, I was like, I can't wait to run with this, and please hold me back if you need to, but I'm going to go crazy, and you can pull me in if need be. So that's so interesting. So it makes me feel triply, quadruply gratified and humbled that it means so much to others as well.
And you saw, like, you got to voice different characters.
Exactly where
oh my gosh.
Going.
I know.
It was such a pleasure. No, and that was such a pleasure too, to like see the worlds that they inhabit and to learn more about, because that's the other thing, we are sort of not isolated necessarily, but you're especially with Dr. Tana, she's very specific and she doesn't go everywhere all the time. So to get to see Tendi's world, because I got to be one of the Orion.
You were Astrid. I was like, oh my God,
it was so much fun.
Oh, you were knife wielding and just getting ready to stab people.
Best. And to see the world of the Orions and to understand how it's like this feminist forward sort of fighting class of pirates, and but that was so cool. And then I got to be like later on, I don't want to give too much away, but work within the Miglimo world, and to see how he sees the world from his point of view. And
was that episode 6?
I want to say that is episode 4 or 3 or 4.
That's out. That's out.
Well, good. I just want to make sure, because that was right. And also my I get to honor my mom, she was British, so I get to speak with an English accent in some old series seasons. Nice. So it's been a really good It's been a real learning curve for me as well because I don't do as much voice performance. So I've loved every minute of it and learning, okay, so how can I craft this so it doesn't sound like, because sometimes I'll start getting into like a Tana world and they'll be like, okay, let's soften her up. And I'm like, got it. But it's been, it's like I said, it's been such a joy to see that they've taken something that has been very solemn and they've kept the respect and the integrity of the show, but able to find the comedy that can even be, so even if it's like a deep cut comedy piece, even if you're not someone who is as well versed in the world of Star Trek, you can still start laughing. And I think that's when you know it's well done.
Yes.
That they've taken something that somebody who knows the show and knows the world inside and out will find it funny, but maybe someone who's more like a layman like me will be like, that's hysterical. And I may not even know that much about Klingons. And yet I still can see that this is hysterical.
Right.
And how they presented it. So it's such a cool thing to watch. And also to work with other performers. Like, I know that Tawny is very deeply involved in the world of Star Trek. And that is so, how cool is it to see that she gets to be in multi layers of the show, live action to writing to animated. So it's been a real joy and such an intellectual exercise for me to kind of learn about all of this and be a part of it.
We are. Go ahead, Sabrina. Because
I was going to say you're in now. You're part of the family now because that is just
so
one of the immediate favorite characters. I mean, it was so different. Those of us that are old time Star Trek, we recognized the species and went crazy because they went back to the animated series, which like hardly anybody watches. But now, because of this show, it's
so special.
Going back to see what happened back there because we're like, wait, Dr. Tiana is what? So when she's not being Pulaski and McCoy and Beverly all rolled up into one.
Right.
Oh my God, she's scratching on her box. Like, I can't because we are both cat people. To me, we are both cat people.
I love cats.
Just ultimately endearing for us to watch this because they have it down.
So special. And I'm so bummed because I have a dog, but the thing is my husband's severely allergic. However, we have I live in LA County. There's a lot of cats that are feral, but I feed two different cats. So the kids and I have gotten to know two that we've named, Squigs and Wendy. And they are the best. And I know. So it's the closest I can get to having a cat right now until I leave my husband.
Look out.
Deciding. We'll see.
Cat husband.
Right. Honestly, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, ooh, I have a lot to say about that.
I know, right? You would not be alone.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I love it. And we were going to ask you, you sort of answered that question about, because it's a weird thing doing voice work, and an ensemble cast, you're really not all together there all the time you're like sort of doing your parts kind of separately. But is there somebody who's a glue to the fabric to keep the whole family together? Like, how do you guys achieve that?
I honestly think it's the writers and the directors are there, and I think they know us all so well and how we perform. It's really, and especially like you look at everybody and it really is like an interesting group of people. You've got nerds like me who are really like, I'm in, what do you need me to do? And from what I've heard, like Jerry O'Connell's a little bit like that too. And I know I've spent time with Tawny and Eugene and, it is so cool to see what they're like in real life and to see so much of themselves in the performances.
Yes.
And that blows me away to see like, oh my gosh, of course they were like you don't know if it was chicken or the egg. Like, did they cast them because they are perfect for the role and have they taken on more of the characteristics of the role or are they helping to create the role now with their own personality being thrown in there? So it's such a cool thing to see who they are outside of the show, which I feel like I have the shorthand with watching them every season, but to see them outside of the show and be like, oh my gosh, of course it's you. This is exactly who you are. This is so
Right.
awesome. Is it's so perfect to kind of understand that a little bit better. So so I think even when I'm doing the voiceover in the room, I can picture Jack Quaid as Boimler. I can picture Tawny. I can picture the Captain Freeman. It's such a great experience of sort of seeing them in your mind's eye as both them as who they are in real life, but still in taking over the character as well.
Right.
All right, we need to wrap, guys. Sorry.
Okay, no, I was
Sorry.
waiting for you to let me know.
Oh my God, I would have kept going. So
I know,
I
so would we,
apologize
you know.
too.
So, well, we
Such a
really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, and
Oh,
thank
such
you
a
for bringing
pleasure.
her to life and letting Star Trek fans get to know you, even though you've had like a lot of us knew you from all the other stuff you've already done. Like, so we were
Oh
stoked
my
when you
God.
came to our
Oh,
family.
such a pleasure.
So,
Thank you. It's honestly, it has been, like I said, a gift and an honor to be a part of something that's sort of taken on this massive world of its own, and people love it. And I feel so blessed to be in that world as well.
well,
Oh,
thank you.
thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Hi.
how you
Many,
doing?
all right. Many a times, Brad Winters is like, I was watching SyFy Sisters the other day, and Brad loves y'all.
Aw,
Ah,
thank you. We love Brad too. And now we
Yeah.
love you because we
Oh,
finally get to meet you.
yeah. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I know these things are always like so brief and stuff, so I appreciate you jumping on, even if it's for a little bit. But I love meeting y'all, love talking to y'all. I was surprised to see that there's an ElfQuest line of videos on there. I don't know if you all are the ElfQuest
Yes.
fans also. I
We
need
are.
to read ElfQuest. I'm a big comic book fan, and it's on my to read list, and I'm not exactly sure what's the best version of it to start, but those creators, the Keenies, I've always seen them at conventions and they're super inspiring. So I was like, these are my people. And when I see ElfQuest stuff on, I'm like, this is my kind of channel. I need to.
You
Let me tell you, this
go ahead.
ElfQuest thing. So my girl Tanya is leading the charge on that, and she has turned all of us into ElfQuest fans. And and there's like a not natural synergy between Trek fans and ElfQuest fans.
Really?
Yeah, and like they're, the storytelling is so rich, and she's teaching me all about how to read graphically,
Hmm.
because I'm
Mhm.
not a huge comic book reader. I never have
Okay.
been. Like, sometimes graphic novels and comics sometimes, but she's teaching me to pay attention to the
Oh.
colors, or the line work, and and I'm like, oh, this is so dope now. Yeah, it's amazing. You got to watch the show.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Two
Yeah.
moons and a mic. And my name is Flamethrower, and I don't care. I'm keeping that name. I've got an
That's your
ElfQuest
elf.
name.
That's her ElfQuest name now.
Right on. I love it.
Flamethrower.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry to go on an ElfQuest tangent, but
I
yeah,
know, right?
whatever you want to talk about.
We're gonna bring it back.
Yeah.
We are. We are. Well, like we said, thank you for being here. And we wanted to congratulate you, first of all, because we see you going into season 5 as a supervising producer.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's
Yes.
more like as the show goes on, and there's more responsibility and more stress to leave it, like where we realize, like, I'm doing the supervising directing role, but then I'm also just looking at art over many projects for the show and things like that, and it's just like it's just a fitting title for what some of us do. Like
Uh,
we're just artists to be of service to the show, so it's kind of a general
well,
term for that.
I need more detail. All right, Barry. I need more detail because this has been making me crazy. We know what the executive producers are. Those are the people with the cash and the clout. But then you have producers, you have co-producers, you have produced by, and then you have
And you have,
supervising
yeah.
producers.
It's
So
yeah, there's
what?
every show. Go ahead, sorry.
No, what is all that? Because anything on the screen is on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Yeah, producer is like a general term it's like a general term of like someone who's in service of the show. But like co-producers are usually writers. It's like a mix. It's like executive
Ah.
producers could be it could be a quite a few things. It could be It could be, like you said, like money people. It could be creative execs from the network. It could be, it's kind of like whatever you come to an agreement on what your title is and how much what you're doing for the show.
Uh-huh.
But generally, like writers, like most of the producer credits are writers, and
Okay.
and it's mostly because there's a writer who wrote this episode, but there's a writer's room and they all kind of worked on it, and everyone's kind of like coming up with the ideas and the conceits for the show, but each episode is assigned to one person, and I think might be a WGA credit thing where like that one person gets the writer credit, but there's a room of people who helped pull that episode
Got
together.
it.
So those writers, it's kind of like those co-producers stuff. That's kind of their credit for writing generally on the show.
That's
And
cool.
then there's people like me and Brad who are like, we're just in service of the show. I'm the kind of like I'm just the artist that's in service of the show.
Mhm.
I'm kind of overseeing, uh, internal stuff. Like I'm doing, mostly supervising directors. They're just kind of watch the show and give notes to board artists and maybe give notes. They're kind of there for the long term, but I'm like an annoying one where like I'll want to like change stuff in the 3D, and I'll want to like review and go into actual shots myself and change things, which is usually
Mm,
usually a bad sign of production, which can like, because I can bottleneck it, like it can
Mhm.
when I'm like maybe too controlling on how the show needs to look and things like that. But I'm trying to offset that by being a responsible leader and I'm still enabling a lot of the artists. I trust a lot of the artists to go. It's just like certain things where I'm like, I'm just going to dive into this shot, and it's kind of like just a broader term just to kind of like cover me in that, like, I'm not just directing.
Mhm.
I'm not
uh-huh.
only doing that. I'm just doing a lot more things for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. I love it. So like, um, how did you make that jump though? Was it a natural progression? Like you went from like, you started off like doing storyboards, right? And now you're in this much larger role.
I was so I had a directing partner. I work at Titmouse Cartoons.
Hmm.
I've worked here for
Okay.
like 13 years. I worked on some Star Wars cartoons. I worked on Venture Brothers. Yeah, I
Yay!
love Venture Brothers.
Such a huge Venture Brothers fan.
Oh, good. That's good to
Yeah.
hear. But yeah, I love that show. That show taught me a lot actually, and it really applies to Lower Decks too. But my directing partner was the supervising director on season one, and he had to exit out like midway through the season, and I was his episodic director. Pretty much just like we were kind of just like a bit of like a directing bromance in a way. Like we were just like, if like he would generally be the supervising director and I'd just be like his, you know, deputized person to kind of do whatever he needed essentially. And I'd supervise direct like some Star Wars things, and again he was kind of on that to help me, but he had to go off and take on another show, Pantheon, that's on Netflix now,
Hmm.
which is an amazing show. But he had to leave halfway through the season. COVID happened, and I love the pilot script for the show Lower Decks. The first 2 minutes of the show, I thought I got it exactly, and
You were in.
yeah, like I was a Star Trek fan. I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. I love sci-fi, Dune, Star Trek, Star Wars, Alien, RoboCop, Terminator, you name it. I
Oh
love
God,
all
you're
that
speaking
stuff.
my language.
And yeah, and I was kind of like, it's weird. I'm always like kind of finding jobs where I'm like, I get this really well, and I think I'm the right fit for it. And it was kind of the natural choice for me to take over the show as he exited. And so I had to like finish season one, made sure that kind of came through with a good landing, and then we
Mhm.
picked up right away on season two, and that's where I became the supervising director. And just as the show went
Nice.
on, and I gained the trust of Mike and the crew and everybody. Like it's kind of when my credits started changing. I got like,
Right.
well, yeah, just in the responsibility I was taking for the show.
Oh, I love that. I mean, that's really cool because like I thank you for like taking time to explain all of that because we were like, Sabrina and I were like, we got to make sense of this. Like,
Yeah,
like Hollywood throws too many terms at me that sound almost exactly the same and are just slightly different. And you know that
yeah,
there's a big difference. It's just kind of like, like speaking one of the Asiatic languages and like just a tonality change is going
yeah.
to make it a whole different word. And like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
I
it's like in
like
a way
that
it's like,
analogy.
yeah. I guess in a way of like I'm still like making it it's still very vague. It's just kind of like like the whole producer thing and production. There's a production designer, art director. There's still credits that kind of like overlap in certain ways, but it's just kind of like however that artist or person has like agreed, like this is what I'm going to give to the show versus like this is the credit that I should get, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Wait.
So look, going forward, we know you're going to go back and listen to and watch and listen to a whole bunch of SyFy Sistas stuff. Okay. So there's homework for you. There's 2 episodes that you must listen to. One is the cookout episode, which is one of Brad's favorites. It's one of our favorites too, but you must listen to that. The other one is a top 10. We do a lot of top 10 shows, mainly like we do them usually on YouTube or with virtual TrekCon from Seventh Rule folks that you were with. So one of them that we did was our top 10 TNG episodes, which was a really good one. And Lower Decks, that episode Lower Decks was one of my all-time favorite episodes. 100%. And I really fought for it to have a really high position on our list, and I did not win.
It came in 8.
It had a mid.
8.
It was in the top 10, but it wasn't as high as I would have ranked it personally.
That's true.
You know? So I'm wondering if you had to pick a couple of our Lower Decks episodes to be in your top 10 list. Can you name a few that would be in your top 10?
From my show? From Lower
Decks? From your show.
Oh gosh. The finale for season 1, for sure. Because I was mentioning earlier, like I got, even still when it kind of pops up on my feed, like whatever, the algorithm has me, and like the Riker showing up, and I got to me and my buddy of mine, Stanley Von Medvey, who's a storyboard artist, like we got to storyboard a battle sequence to the original TNG, the motion picture score, and it was like it still gives me chills, like seeing it and getting to board on it and cut it to that song. I love no one liked him. I love Fletcher. That was that he was kind of a dipshit back in season 1. It's the first Badgie episode. He's a terrible officer. And
I liked Fletcher.
Yeah,
he was hilarious.
I think there's always like a weird split with Starfleet officers have to be competent, like they have to be perfect, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but there's also asshole admirals. So how the hell is this? How does this happen?
Right.
So I like he's just and we all know someone who has failed their way through life,
failed their way to the top.
Someone keeps getting this. How do you keep getting work? Like that person. So like that, I always love Fletcher, and Tim Robinson's amazing.
Yes.
This episode we just heard. Did you all get to see 507? Did you get to see this last?
Yes.
Yes. Fully dilated.
Yeah, this one, like I was just telling someone else, like it's kind of a perfect Star Trek episode, like in general. Like it's not just a Lower Decks episode in that like it's got the tropey going down to a planet, having to be in disguise, and there's one guy being like, "You're not supposed to be here."
The lurker.
The lurker or whatever. Like our animation director was always good. I was trying to always be like, "What? He should look creepy, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, like this," and he'd always do this face, and I'd be like, "That's it, you got it."
I love that there was even that shot. He came back in the frame and was like, "Oh,
yeah,
dying."
Yeah,
he was the only one that didn't get long bouncing curls. He didn't.
Yeah. And he needs it the most.
And curls. I was dead.
And I love like little moments like that when he goes, "Man," like he comes back in because his hands do this. I like anime.
It sounded like Edward G. Robinson.
Oh yeah.
Somebody was doing Edward G.
Yeah.
And his hands do. I love animators who do they do little animation like this, or like toes wiggling. I don't know why sometimes like that's funny, like just little nuanced things. I'm trying to think what was the pre.
I was trying to figure out. I was writing down how many shows were referenced in that one episode.
Right.
I would think I got to 10. One time I just said, "Oh, forget it. I can't."
Yeah, I mean, as for the other episodes, I'm like. It's funny. The ones I liked working on the most are probably the most polarizing, like the peanut hamper.
Oh no,
the bird one.
No. Peanut hamper's my bitch. I go down in history.
That's
with
a
peanut
girl.
hamper.
That's
my girl.
Reading
My Tribble.
Script.
My
So
first
good.
Tribble like, I don't know if you know about the triples from Science Division. They're the app-enabled triples that you
They
could
make
buy.
noises and stuff.
Yeah, they
They
make
do
noises
everything.
and
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and they purr and everything. So my first triple, I named her Peanut Hamper.
Aw.
I love, and if I get an actual living pet again, it probably will be named either Peanut Hamper or Knick Knack. My second triple is Knick Knack.
Knick-knack. Yeah, the movie ones. There's a lot of good episodes they made.
Yeah, but
Yeah, the
Peanut
movie
Hamper,
ones.
she's my
Yeah.
girl. Yes, her
Yeah.
first episode was so brilliant.
Yeah, those are good intro. Yeah, because like you think she's gonna save it, and she's like, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, that Rauta where she's on the Bird Planet episode, like,
Oh,
look,
yes.
I love James Cameron stuff as much as the next guy, but it's so easy to make fun of Avatar, and just being able to make that episode and subvert it. And what was funny, what cracked me up is, I mean, I love like that's one episode where we have to make everything from scratch. It was really hard. We have no human characters for like 20 minutes, or
Mhm.
like it's all bird people and Peanut Hamper. And we didn't do the main title. We did like a little unique main title. So that one was not only was difficult, but it was also getting to subvert, Avatar. And what cracked me up is like that episode came out, and like I want to say like 2 months later, Avatar 2 came out, and like the opening
Oh my
sequence
God.
to Avatar 2, I was laughing in the theater. Nobody else was, but I was like, oh my God, this is our episode. Like it's the people, the aliens going like, oh my God, there's like a spaceship coming down. I'm like, oh my God, we did this shot. We did all these shots. And they just did it all in 7 minutes. Like I love that we subverted it like just around the
Oh
same
my
time the
God.
movie came out.
Jesus. Well, listen, Barry, we got to wrap this up. So we got like one last quick question.
Okay.
Here it is, real quick. If you could cross over into any animated franchise, cross over Lower Decks, any animated franchise or movie, what would it be? Quick.
Oh, well, I mean, like I mean, I always loved seeing this paperback that was around, and it was a Star Trek X-Men crossover. I love X-Men, but like that would be so great to be able to do like a Lower Decks X-Men crossover. We're doing alternate dimension stuff. Who's to say they don't go to like a world where the X-Men are around? I don't know.
I like that.
But we're on. Maybe I have to like keep it within the realm of Paramount. So maybe what if Beavis and Butthead showed up
Oh my
Man.
God.
on the Cerritos? That way we could keep.
No.
Maybe that's actually doable because it's like
Right.
on Paramount Plus, and like Beavis and Butthead were doing multiverse stuff, in their first. I don't know if you watch Beavis and Butthead, the new
That would
ones.
be brilliant.
I
They're
heard
great,
about it.
but they go
She-
they go through portals, and there's like Watcher ones with big heads, like Beavis and Butthead that have huge giant
Yes.
glows for heads. I'm like, they could be on the Cerritos as Watchers
Totally.
or something.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
The Beavis and Butthead was my jam. I mean, I
Oh,
am
yeah.
that kid,
Yeah.
So
love it.
well, we love you. Thank you so much for taking time with us. And hopefully another time we can come back and like
Totally.
we can have you. We can have like a nice long geeked out
Yeah.
conversation.
Please do.
I need to talk to you about Tuvix.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yes.
but don't get that's it. We're gonna save
Okay.
that for another
Yeah,
time.
yeah. For sure. Love talking to you. Nice meeting you, and yeah, love to chat more.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you
All
so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.